Wednesday morning, Planet 417, dollars and cents, Bruce Porter. We're going to get into it right after this.
Putting the client first. That was my main priority some 20 years ago when I started the Resource Center, and it remains my priority today. That's why I wrote Finding the Courage to Retire, to help guide you confidently along a journey that should be the most rewarding of your life, from creating sustainable income and preservation strategies to understanding Social Security, Medicare, and much more. This book is the retirement roadmap you need. To get your free copy, just call or email our office today.
Well, here we are.
Hey, here we are. How was Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was just dandy.
So you shot a poor innocent creature on your ranch?
No, my father shot him.
Okay, well, I can understand that. I know wrong.
I cooked him. Well, I'd been more than happy to shoot him had he crossed my path, but I wasn't out there. But, yeah, that bird.
Was it good?
It was good. It was very tasty. It was a big tom bird.
Was it gamey?
No, we cook it such that we don't have a gamey flavor. The problem with that bird, as opposed to last year, was I think it was on a diet. It was like...
It looked a little anorexic.
It was kind of skinny.
How tall was that bird? 4 or 5 foot tall?
I don't know. I didn't see it live.
Had some long legs.
It was big, and it was big boned, but there's not a lot of meat on it. I mean the
drumstick was that wrong?
Yeah, it was. It was a big drumstick. But like I said, it was big tom. But didn't have a lot of meat on it. But it was tasty. You know, you cook it right, you brine it, you smoke it, you take some time with it, and you can make anything taste pretty good if you put the work in for it.
So now we've got the Black Friday sales kicking off for the next 14 Black Fridays coming up.
I guess that's right. Yeah.
I mean, everything's on sale now.
Yeah.
I think you got to be careful as a consumer. I think you got to watch those sales prices, because sometimes there's not a deep a dive as what you think.
I think that sometimes those sales prices are like a Biden economic recovery.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're down 200%, but we recovered 20, and so we're going to take credit for the 20% recovery.
Yeah.
So if I raise the price 50% and then drop it 10,
you think you're getting a deal.
You're getting a deal,
or maybe I'll do better than that, and I'll drop it 20 or 30%. But you got to watch that stuff. We were out after the holiday, after Thanksgiving. And, you know, I was just looking at prices. I'm kind of weird that way. And I didn't see any real big bargains out there. So I think there's a lot of little schemes going on to try to retail hype up their marketing efforts, which they all are.
Yeah.
But everybody's still going online quite a bit. So that's putting a lot of pressure. I was at the mall. Nobody's buying anything. Everybody's just walking around.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people just walking around checking stuff out. And I think it's because in the retail world, they're going to get caught not giving those deep discounts.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I think that's just something we need to watch as consumers, because every dollar counts. That's going to be our new slogan going into next year.
I like it. Yeah.
Every dollar counts. And so if you're broke, quit spending $8 a day at Starbucks. I'm amazed when I drive by there and there's 25, 30 people in line. So there are ways to cut if you're willing to listen to some advice and start cutting. So
you know, just think about the things that we spend money on today that we did not spend money on 30 years ago. I mean, 30 years ago, I didn't have a cell phone bill.
Nope.
Didn't have it. Didn't have a TV bill. Didn't have a streaming service. Didn't have an internet bill.
Nope.
You know, so there's $30, $40, $400 every month that I'm spending that 30 years ago I didn't have that bill.
That the generation nowadays thinks that's just normal. Everybody's got that.
And you know, it would be difficult to live without some of that. But you know, the $8 Starbucks that we used to pay a dime for a cup of coffee, or 50 cents maybe. You know, you still could get a cup of coffee for $1. You don't have to get the $5 cup of coffee.
Or you can brew your own at home.
You could do that. You know, you can cook breakfast at home instead of going through the drive-through. There's lots of ways to save money if you really want to.
Lots of ways to save money, and you know, let's face it, we got 1 month left in the year. So don't panic and try to figure out a game plan right now. You know, blow through December, but take the time to plan for next year right now. Because next year, every dollar counts. You need to make next year better than this year. So when you get to this time next year, you need to check yourself today And a year from now, check yourself. And if you're in a better financial position, then you successfully accomplished something. If you're not, then all right, let's revisit it again, because sometimes as adults I have to tell you this stuff over and over.
Well,
and
and
over
budget's
over.
fairly simple. You make $1,000, the government's going to take 25%. They're going to take 250. You're going to give 100 of it to your church. You're going to save 100 of it back, so you've got $550 every week if you make $1,000 a week to live on, and you just budget off of that. So you're going to want to spend maybe $1,000 a month on rent or house payment for that. Got a little bit for food, got a little bit for car, got a little bit for car insurance, and then maybe you've got something left over to go to Starbucks. Maybe you don't.
See, I'm even more conservative. When people talk to me about their housing budget, you know, it comes from some banking history. You know, if you consider a mortgage being only 25% of your income, then it's affordable. It has creeped up over the years, and it's in the 40s now, and that's too high because we have a negative savings rate in the United States. So as the mortgage portion of a person's budget has creeped up from what used to be 25% as a norm, is now close to the 40 and a little higher percent mark, the savings accounts have come back down. So you're not accomplishing anything. Although real estate's a good investment, but if you bite off more than you can chew, if you go through a tough time, if you change jobs, or if you're sick for 3 weeks with the flu, that could have an effect if you have no savings. So I think people are pushing the limit by buying property they can't afford under normal circumstances. And I think you take a more conservative approach. I don't think there's anything wrong with renting. You can rent for a period of time that has a purpose. Eventually you're going to want to buy, but you don't want to buy and put yourself in a financial bind. You want to wait to buy until you have 20% down, not your parents giving you it.
Well, even if you're going to rent, you know, figure out what your housing budget is. You know, if that's 25%, and then rent maybe at 15 to 20%, take that extra 5 or 10 and start saving that back as your down payment, and then you've built the habit that you're going to be able to use of saving, and you've built the habit of having that payment available for your housing.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just good advice. And so, you know, so welcome to the holidays. Now's when everybody's in a panic mode trying to figure out what they're going to buy for Christmas. We made it through Thanksgiving. Everybody survived, right?
Yep.
All right.
We did.
Now forget about your exercise program. We'll worry about that next year. Right?
Yeah, and if
30 days left. We gotta, you know,
Let's-
it's a celebration
let's
month
party.
right now.
Jesus is coming, and we're happy to have him. If you just want to sit down and chat and strategize with us and brainstorm a little bit about your budget, your finances, your estate plan, we'd love to have you. Give us a call. Call Bruce, the Resource Center. We'll set something up, 882-1800, and we'll be back next week with more dollars and cents.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and the Resource Center, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet a particular need of an individual situation. The Resource Center, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by the Resource Center, Inc. This podcast is a paid placement.